to give background on the process employed to get to this point. Having reviewed the last tendering process, the existing lease, and the lessons learned, plans were put in place to ensure a far better outcome for the next lease period. The existing lease for the Beach House Cafe was granted for a fixed term of 5 years on a full repairing basis and is due to expire on the 31st of March 2021. The existing facility is an aged and considered substandard for Bermuda's prime tourism destination. Therefore, the expiry of the existing lease has presented an opportunity to have an old facility redeveloped and improved for the next leasing period tourism experience. The property has been advertised, inviting proposals to be submitted for the improvement and operation of the cafe, commencing at the termination of the current lease. However, in the absence of government capital funding for the development of the site, consideration has been given to exploring the option of development by the proposed tenant. The initiative was packaged in an open tender for requests for proposals from interested parties in the hospitality industry. The aspirations of the government, among others, include encouraging and providing opportunity for talented or experienced young Bermudian entrepreneurs and supporting the setup and investments that will stimulate economic growth in the current economic climate. The tasks involved in the arrangements and respective timeframes per the following phases. Phase 1, evaluation of proposals, shortlisting, presentation, and selection of prospective tenant. The time frame was August to early September 2020. Phase 2, approval for selected prospective tenant, offer of the development lease, agreement on redevelopment design, drafting and negotiations. The time frame for that is November 2020 and possibly extending to December 2020. Phase 3, the existing lease expiry, site investigations in preparation for redevelopment and arrangements. The time frame for that is November 2020 to March 2021. Phase 4, the redevelopment lease commencement preparations for opening the cafe from start of the holiday season, acquisition of development, planning consent. The time frame for that is November 2020 if early termination can be agreed. Termination dates are being negotiated with the current leaseholder. Phase 5, redevelopment project by selected cafe tenant operator, completion and commissioning of new development, timeframe November 2020 to March 2021, and then March 2022. The invitation for RFP was issued on the 2nd of March 2020 and closed on July 1st. A total of 16 proposals were received, of which 8 were shortlisted and invited to make presentations to a joint committee. The 8 shortlisted proposals were scored independently by a panel of 6 persons from the Ministry of Public Works, Parks Department, and the Bermuda Tourism Authority against a 13-point scoring matrix criteria which included services to be provided, awareness of beach tourism trends, proposed redevelopment design, financial capability, ability to complete within the time frame, management ability for beach rentals, environmentally friendly and sustainable services, local employment, and visitor benefits. This, together with overall consideration showing a well-thought-out plan to support making the Horseshoe Bay Beach facility experience a top tourism destination. Following the presentations, the 8 shortlisted applicants were then narrowed down to the 2 with the highest scores. Both proposals estimate a capital and investment of approximately $3.8 million to redevelop the site. The proposed terms of the lease are a 5-year full repairing lease with a tenant's option to renew for a further 5 or 10 years, subject to agreement of the lease provisions. The proposed lease terms assume the current facility will continue in its current format under the new tenant through to the end of the 2021 summer season. In the interim, the successful applicant will finalize designs, gain statutory consents, and go through a phased development and approval process with the Ministry of Public Works. With the excellent submissions in hand, we now have the opportunity and improvements to the cafe facility and position to have a new development to replace the old. Following intense scrutiny and the challenge of selecting only one of the many excellent submissions, I am pleased to announce and present Horseshoe Bay Live, and the team consisting of Mr. Dalton Eben to my left, Mr. Devon Simons to my further left, and Mr. Carl Vincent to my right as a new entity to be awarded the lease to the Horseshoe Bay Beach House Cafe. Working in partnership with the government as the landlord, the leaseholder will be granted an initial 5-year development lease with an option for renewal to be negotiated as part of the lease. The Horseshoe Bay Live team here today are experienced young Bermudians of the highest caliber in the hospitality industry. I'm confident they are all up to the task of shouldering the enormous responsibility of offering world-class facilities and services at the most popular and iconic beach in Bermuda. At the moment, we are preparing to take over the cafe and ensure preparations are completed to fit it to resume providing services next April leading up to tourist arrivals. As part of the planning consultations, designs, and the planning and building permit process will begin. To that end, a construction team consisting of representatives from the Department of Public Lands and Buildings, the new leaseholders will be created. The team will be responsible for facilitating the construction of the new development, scheduled to start in November 2021 and be completed by April 2022. The Department of Public Lands and Buildings will continue to provide support and work with the team throughout this endeavor to help ensure its success. So in conclusion, I'd like to say that Horseshoe Bay Live are an energetic group this opportunity, and I'm sure they will make a success of it. I ask the people of Bermuda to support them 100%, especially as Bermuda and the world are still coming to terms with the devastation, death, and financial crisis caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you, and I now invite Mr. Dalton Eben to say a few words.
Thank you, Minister. Thank you. Just wanted to say thank you to Bermuda and the government and the ministry for trusting that we are going to run this business and facility to the best of our ability. We are well rehearsed and well ready to take this on, and we are ready to do whatever it takes, communication, dedication, and never giving up to make this a successful place and successful business. Thank you very much.
Okay, we will now take questions from the media. Please, there isn't any mic today, so just project your voice to make sure you're well here.
Sure. What experience do the three of you have in hospitality? What's your background?
We all come from hospitality. I come from the hotel industry. Carl, to my left, comes from, to my right, sorry, comes from the fine, comes from the, Jesus, sorry, I'm nervous. Comes from luxury yachting, and he's been in overseas as well. One partner, correction, is not here. He's actually involved in the community activist, and he's you may know a little thing called Country Kitchen. He is the chef and head chef of Country Kitchen. So he's very versed in Bermuda and Bermuda in hospitality.
And his name is?
Devon Simons. This is actually Raid. He's going to take care of our sports and training.
So is it 3 people on Horseshoe Bay Live or 4?
Say again?
Is it 3 people or 4? Horseshoe Bay Live.
It'll be 3 on the ground.
Yeah.
3 on the ground.
So who are the partners
4 partners
in Horseshoe Bay Live? 3 partners in Horseshoe Bay Live, and that's earlier.
I'm sorry?
And that's the 3 the minister
Correct.
mentioned. Yes.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
So what's going to be different in terms of, well, I'm a tourist, and I show up at Horseshoe Bay, once you guys take over, what's going to be different between what's going on now and what you're going to do? You're going to do something obviously different.
Well, I come from a luxury background experience, so it's going to be a luxury experience, not just for the tourists, but for the locals. It's all about service. Unfortunately, I went, if you don't mind giving me a little story, went to Horseshoe Bay about 6 years ago, and I tried to purchase some beach chairs, and unfortunately, I didn't fit the criteria in which they wanted. It was just me, myself, and my wife. There was lounge chairs. They had 4 lounge chairs or 4 back chairs, and I thought that's just ridiculous. Even if I paid more, why wouldn't I be able to get it? We come from an experience where the guest is always right. So if you want to adjust, we will adjust for you. So that will be one of the many things that we're working through. The look of the building will be different as well.
What about other things? You're going to have live music or?
Oh yeah, well those are known. Those are there now, right? I mean, they have live music and entertainment there now. But we're introducing a sports program. We're introducing technology to the beach as well. We're introducing private setups beach. So there's a lot that we have in mind that we're going to do.
So I'm sorry, what do you mean by
Technology, like you should be able to order from your phone. You should be able to. We should be able to pinpoint your location. You know where you are, delivered to you, especially in this COVID environment. Getting crowded in that building, it's not convenient. It's not luxury. We can come to you.
And what about the sports program? What is that going to be?
The sports program?
Yeah, you mentioned sports.
Yes, we're in talks with Rai. He was a professional football player in England, and he's doing all types of running to jogging to yoga to football. These things that we have in line coming up.
Okay, I'm sorry, I don't know exactly what that means. I'm a fat American tourist. I just showed up at the beach. How does this help me?
Would you like to speak to them? Some ideas?
Sure. You can take it.
Sure.
So what we're proposing is just instead of just coming to a beach for the beach experience, you could also have fun playing volleyball, maybe football, take a walk, even a little 3 to 5 kilometer jog through the beach, through the trails. So there's just different experience we're just going to offer rather than just being on the beach.
Okay. I got a question from the minister. You said that there were lessons learned from the previous experiences. Could you give us a little bit more about what the lessons were?
I don't really want to look back, but if you go into your archives, you'll see that there's a checkered history there. But what I would say is that we had 16 entities that responded to this RFP, which is very much in line with what we wanted to accomplish. That's why we started in January, more than a year out from when the lease would expire, so that we could cover the entire landscape. So everybody and their mother who wanted to first time I thought about it, there's enough timeline for you to put together a team, come up with a plan, put together a proposal, and so that you have 16 people applying as opposed to 6. The other lessons that I learned is technology. One of the things that the ability to have Wi-Fi on the beach and the ability to make it more exciting. Delton, this is probably not the time for him to be shy about his experiences, comes back to us from 7 years?
8 years.
8 years abroad, working for first Mandarin Oriental
and then
Sandals. And so he has a lot of experience, and I'm surprised that we're in his driveway, but I guess he's not used to facing you all.
So, do you propose something similar and other? Because that's Horseshoe, like you say, it is the iconic. It's the most famous one in Bermuda, but there are other beaches in Bermuda. Do you propose making it more interesting at some other tourist beaches?
The short answer is yes. Most of the beaches are considered parks, and so there are a number of proposals that are before the Parks Commission, which is the first port of call to go in order to be able to do something different on beaches. They come in various categories. So not everything is going to be a Horseshoe, not everything is going to be a Shelley Bay or John Smith's Bay. We will look at all opportunities and see if we can't enhance the experience at all of the beaches in Bermuda.
Minister, we understand that the award of the lease included a grant or some financial backing to the winning group to get started and make changes. Is that correct? Is there some government backing for this program?
No.
So that 3.8 million, there's no government money in that?
There's no government money in that.
You say you granted a 5-year lease. Is it a monthly payment or is it an annual payment? How does that
It's a
work?
monthly payment.
Monthly payment? And will you be telling us what that monthly payment is?
I know it. We'll get that answer to you.
Okay. Appreciate
I
that.
don't want to misspeak.
No, don't want that. Thank you. So the operative date of the lease, is April 1st. Is that right? Is that the takeover?
We're negotiating an early exit for the current leaseholder. We're obviously in a down period now in any case. And so there is some indication that they might be interested in going early, and they'll go in early.
What's the name of the company that has it now?
Current staff interested in bringing those folks?
We are definitely interested in screening the current staff. I mean, they have the history of it. I'm definitely interested in speaking to them and talking to them and seeing what they provide with us.
How many staff are there now?
Say again?
How many staff are there now?
I don't know. Sorry.
So how long do you see this project, because it's obviously over a period of time, before the next tourist season, which is coming soon? How much work do you think needs to get done, now and then to prepare this coming summer? Because you're still going to have to do more work, apparently, up until the off season next year. Is that correct?
Well, when you speak about work, what are you referring to?
Development work. The minister mentioned the development was going to go through to 2022.
Yeah. The obviously they're taking over a product that exists. We're cognizant of the fact that is looking at us in the face, and so the RFP was designed to get ideas out of those people that are interested that could be developed over time, and so they will take over on April, as of this moment, or sooner if we can negotiate that, and operate the business for next summer, whilst also making plans for the redevelopment of the site to begin in November next year, and getting planning permission, and getting parks permission. And all of those things will take place during summer. And in November next year, the actual renovation and construction will begin over the winter period to be ready to open their idea in 2022.
So there's really not going to be a whole lot of construction or anything going on in
No.
the development up until the start.
No,
of
yeah.
So about a year from now.
Mm-hmm.
Minister, I think you mentioned that the plan that was proposed is about a $3.8 million plan
Yep.
to redevelop the site.
Mm-hmm.
$3.8 million, either yourself or one of the gentlemen, what does that include?
Any way to propose?
Include a restructuring of the building. It includes the IT standpoints of it, the Wi-Fi's and the technology to actually monitor. It includes things like the GPS. It includes training. It includes a whole lot. It includes a whole lot. Yeah.
That's $3.8 million, a big investment, right?
Yeah. Majority of it is going into the building.
Any idea what the square footage of the new building will be?
Not at this time.
No. Do you have the financing in place? Are you borrowing money, or do you have it set up already, or what? So it's just
We have a backer. We have a backer. Yeah.
You have a backer?
Yeah.
All right, members of the media, thank you very much for your attendance. We do have to call an end to the press conference as the minister has other press matters to attend to. Thank you very much for your attendance, and have a great day all.